saying forget the word for volunteer.
It's okay, donating your time.
Yeah. But these are like fine Japanese watercolors. They're extremely nice. Like probably the best watercolors I've ever worked with in my life. And I was like, how did you get those?
And you know what? You never know until you use something.
Exactly. Yeah, I think so too, because the pigment in this is just like insane. I've been for like anxiety, I've been like doing.
We can't hear you.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, I didn't know you had started.
Sorry.
Me either. Okay, so he started. I'm chewing.
No smacking.
There's nobody there, but well, there might be one person maybe now, but yeah.
Ignore us.
I just thought you heard because it goes recording in progress.
Oh no, I'm deaf. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah,
I'm actually
now.
deaf. Appreciate the heads
Yeah,
up.
sorry about that.
For posterity. You as well.
From Larry, yeah, he said it could be a little bit late. That's wife calling by video.
Just set him up. Speak of the devil. Set him up on the
Oh,
phone.
yo. Oh, yo.
Something the whole thing.
Hello,
This
bonjour.
morning.
Pretty happy when you were down there.
He did so good today. He actually smiled. Like for the first time, yeah, he actually smiled during
Hey, you're
class.
outside the building. Come on in. Begin.
He does cry at the end of class.
Okay,
every
gaggle,
class.
gaggle, pup, can.
At the
All
very
right.
when I leave, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Just got started, so.
I think it's like muscle memory almost from when you came and because he was fine during class, but when you left is when he started to cry. So I think that's maybe what it correlates.
I know.
Yeah.
I guess so.
But he does really good.
It seems a lot.
Okay, wait. Just wanted the video for a second. Tell me who's coming to the door. So, aha, what did you not? So today I thought we'd do a little some kitchen terminologies and some living room terminology. Just some stuff that you can say around the kitchen. Just some random kind of phrasing thing. We'll kind of break them apart and look at it a little bit. Bagaji wisnuan nedwindan. Nijuk meshin. Enajan e bagaji wisnuan. Jushuk gigi wisnuan. Okay, what about bagaji? What's bagaji?
Little
A
bit.
little bit. Wisnuan.
Snack.
Snack. Yeah, the whole thing is a snack.
A little
A
food.
little bit of food. Bagaji wisnuan. Snack. The nedwindan. So. I want it.
Mhm.
Oh, it's thank you.
Yeah,
Well,
it comes
well,
from
I mean,
that.
thinking a little bit like that. It's Nindon. I mean, it's pretty close. Nedwindon, Nindon. I want it. So I want a snack. The Gaji Wisnuin, the Nedwindon. I want a snack. If you got kids or grandkids, heck, I like a snack from time to time. You know, Gaji Wisnuin. Nishok Meshin and Najan eat the Gaji Wisnuin. This would be like somebody talking to you. Nishok Meshin and Najan eat the Gaji Wisnuin. Wisnuin. Nishok Meshin. Do I know that word? I know you've heard it in prayers, probably.
Yeah. Does it have pity on us?
Help me.
Mm.
Help me. Nishok Meshin. So help me. And Najan. Who's the Yan?
What's the
I
Close.
help me. I want a snack.
Help me. Help me fetch.
Batch. Okay.
Grab. Fetch from Nadin. Help me fetch a snack. Yep. Nijok Meshin and Najan eat the Gaji. stimulant. Jishuk kagi we stimulant. Jishuk kagi we stimulant. Oh, you see it on? I tried to turn it through.
Okay.
Yeah, I can go back or something, figure something out. Jishuk kagi we stimulant. Anybody know what jishuk is?
Lots.
Do it.
Is it lots?
That's Jash, that's close.
Okay.
That actually, that is about right. That's not close, that's not bad. Just that, just happened. Kind of. Just gigi, we stimmet.
We just ate?
We just ate. Yeah. Somebody's asking you for a snack. We just ate. Just shook gigi, we stimmet.
God, this sounds like I'm talking to children, my children.
I hate to admit it, but that's kind of where the conversation came from. When I started thinking about like words that you use in the living room, words you use in the kitchen, a lot of them relate to like how my kids would be like, "Hey, I want a snack." We just, I'd be like, "Hey, just ate," you know. So yeah, if you think of it from that perspective, yeah, it's that's where it comes from. Bagaji, we still in the net window. I want a snack. Ni joke mention and not John. Bagaji, we still in. Help me grab a snack or fetch a snack. Just shook the we still in. Just shook the we still in. Just ate. Okay. She had beat by it. Let's have to stop. I'm like, I'm out.
What?
Okay, we can stop for a minute.
That was funny.
Pause. Meat fiber. We ask pie. We ask ito jishkwe. Meat pie. So dokam we snin.
Shut up and eat.
Yeah, pretty much. I always like to take the more calm approach, like be quiet, and eat. But yeah, pretty much.
I wrote
Shut
down
up
be
and eat.
quiet, but I said shut up.
I mean, that's in the tone. In the tone, it probably is more of that. Honestly, it's kind of like because my kids will sit there and just blah, 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 and I'm like, we gotta be somewhere. Like they're not eating their food; they're just sitting there. Zamdone what? So dokam, shut up and eat. Dokam we snin. How would you say everybody do that? If we snin, we snick. Dokam we snick. What about with dokam? Good. Do anything to it? No. It's both singular and plural. Dokam. So. Yago maji doken mijum ji now jish now gamak or gamgo. Excuse me. The verb here, let me change my color. Is maji do. Gago maji doken mijum ji now jish now gamgo. Now mijum is just the same thing as we snore. It's just another way of saying we snore. Okay, just means food. Mijum just comes from the verb mijin to eat it. Wisnuin comes from the verb wisna to eat. They both come from eat. There's different ways to say food. So mijum or wisnuin. So gago maji dokan mijum ji maujish now gumgo. So what do you think this might be? It's some kind of place, right? Okay. Let's look at the whole thing here. So we got Gago and we got Maji Doken. So what are we doing right here? We're saying don't do something. So don't do whatever this is. Food there. Now Jishno means together. And this gumgok means is it that gamuk is a room, gumgok is to a room. So it's the room you gather in, which is the living room. I mean, depends. Maybe it's other rooms. Sometimes I feel like my bedroom. I swear I could just kind of migrate in there. I'm trying to sleep. I'm like, the gathering place. Yeah, your bedroom.
Don't
yeah, the
take
living
your
room.
food there in the living room.
Yeah, don't take food
Yeah.
into the living room. Yeah, they're in the living room. Exactly. Majidon is to take it. So don't take food there in the living room. To the living room. My kids are always. I just can't let them take food there. They just thrash my new couch.
2 couches later.
Yeah, many couches later. Many couches later. Mina anet pinojek and dagwindak imbawat mina shishiguat kwejiguan genwak jiptabun. You understand me? My kids, they like to go in there, go to sleep and pee on the
I was
couch.
about to say they
So
pissed on
that
it.
will ruin their couches fast, even faster than dumping food on it. Yeah, so woo, good times. Sorry for airing your dirty laundry, One day. They're getting better though. I'll give them that. I mean, I give them props. They're, you know, Megwa Janan, Chowika, we Shishik, Megwa Janan. They don't really do that anymore. But Wegwindek, Ewab Magwagi Pinojek, Mbawat, Genwak Jeep Debwin, Neen, the week kid, Kogan, Genwak Jeep Debwin. Get the heck off those couches. Hell off those couches. Yeah, so I really get them back. I don't let them fall asleep. I see them sleep on the couch anymore. Zagja Webinen eat week do you. I'm missing a letter. Zagja Webinen eat week do you. What do you think this Zog might be like? I put Zogich. Okay. So Zog. Webnen.
Get out, throw it out.
Throw it out. Throw it out. Throw it away. Throw away. That.
Spoiled food.
Trash.
Trash.
Keep going. That's the other thing my kids do. Can't nam janam dog windom what winjige what nukmukshina edayan. My kids love to just dirty up all over my house. Zagid web, throw it away. Zagid web and eat. We could do it. Throw away that trash. Now, if I was telling all of them to throw it away, Zagid web nuk. Zagid web nuk and eat. We could do it. I'll throw away the trash. Zagid web. We could do it. This is a word that I say a lot in my house. The kids never throw their stuff away. And I tell you, my wife, it's one of the words my wife could never pick up for me because I always say it really fast. I didn't even realize how fast I said it because she'd be like, "Yeah, I heard you say it 100 times. I know it means, what are you saying?" I'm like, "Zagjuevidin." And I was like, "Zagjuevidin, Zagjuevidin." Say it much slower, Zagjuevidin. Then she's like, "Oh, okay, I should get it." But I was always like, "Zagjuevidin." That's how it gets with some of these words. You get used to them and you say them a bunch. Before you know it, you're just spraying them out everywhere. All over town, wherever you're walking. Nukmuk must be on my mind today. I've said that like 3 times. I like nukmuk. Here,
I do
there,
too.
everywhere. Nukmuk. We're just hopping around everywhere. That's what we're doing. Word of the day, nukmuk. Ipijezia Jacquisne. Ipijezia Jacquisne.
Where are you going to eat?
Where are you going? Right? Where are you going? So Ipija, where are you going? That's now Jock. Like it's kind of related to Jaya in a way. So this is like everything. Jock Chicago, like everything. So Jock, everything. Weeston, eat everything. Eat it all. Eat all your food. Jock Weeston. Because they'll sit there and they'll just play around their food and they'll leave like, they won't touch, they'll eat like Funyuns. Right. And I'm like, dude, there's pork chops and mashed potatoes that you're not touching. Jock Weeston, eat everything. Jock Weeston, eat everything. Jock wasted. Eat everything. Skinner. Sitagunane. Sitagunane. Probably never heard this word, but you probably figured it out.
But sitagnan is salt, right?
Sitagunane. Did you put salt on it? This is just it into a verbal
Okay.
form. Yeah.
Okay.
But sitagunane. Did you put salt on it? Or did you salt it up? Like if you're asking, hey, do you add salt to it? Like potatoes or whatever you were eating. Sitagunane. Did you salt it up? Did you put salt on it? This is an example though of like what I mean by you can have a word you've never heard in your life, but if you recognize what's going on with it, like you know sitagun, you can figure out what I'm talking
I
about.
could have guessed that.
Yeah, you can figure it out because you got. Then it's just a matter of like, oh, this is just doing something to it. Bam. That's all. Siotag nepkot. Siotag nepkot. You also say nepkwet. Siotag nepkot. Siotag nepkot. Menopkot. Menopkot. Tastes salty.
Okay.
So here again, you got your Siotagne. Pokot. That's your pokot or poquet. That's your taste. You say like menopquet. Tastes good. Menopquet. Or menopquet. Those are just kind of like dialects. Some people say coat, some people say quet. So menopquet, menopquet. Tastes good. But this is probably the only one you're ever going to run into. Most of the time, you're going to hear people say, "Oh, menopquet tastes good," or menopquet tastes good. But if you just understand that, you know that what this means. So all that's happened here is that siotag, that word siotagen, it just flips like this. Siotagne.
How would you say pass the salt?
Vietnamese sitagen. That's a good one. Vietnamese sitagen. That was in my list of words. It's
Oh,
good.
I'm sorry.
No, that just means that just further emphasizes that was a good one to have in there. That's all that does because it's a natural one, natural thing to have.
What is it? Oh,
That's what something that she could remember, like hearing.
oh.
Vietnamese sitagen. What about Vietnam Waska? Vietnam. Where's the
Is it pass or
Pass it.
hand?
pass it? There's a word for handed, but
Vietnam.
Vietnam.
Pass it.
Pass it. Vietnam butter.
That's the butter.
Yep, the butter.
I
Butter.
love the word for butter.
And it's one that they never really tried to make any unique. It is kind of
Butter.
kind of just a little poly flair, throw
Butter.
Kim on it, we're good to
My
go.
favorite
But
food.
in fact, I decided how I was going to start saying chili because I saw how the Second Fox wrote chili, and I was like, man, because I didn't have a word for chili, and I was like, man, this is what they did. They said chini.
Chini.
Well, because CHILI, well, we don't have the L's. Lots of the L's become an N. It's like chini. I was like, I like it.
Well, you know,
I like
we did tea, TI and we did copy. I mean.
Yeah, copy.
those are pretty-
Exactly. So I mean, rather than, this made a lot of sense to me because a lot of times we describe things. Like if chili was simple to describe, I'd say, oh, by all means, let's describe its nature. But oh my God, chili's kind of complicated. It could be it's spicy. It's got beans. But what kind of chili is it? How do you do your chili? And then it's like,
It's white chili, the red chili.
yeah, is it red chili? Is it white bean chili? Is it this type of chili? And you're like, man,
Exactly.
chili. I like that. I was like, I like that word.
So we got butter, salt.
Yeah.
Pepper.
Pepper and pequestion. What's pequestion?
Bread.
Bread. What kind of bread is that? Literally. If y'all remember that.
Sliced.
Sliced.
bread.
Mhm. And if you say webjada, it's like your store-bought bread. Most people don't know the difference. Most people just use pequestion for all types of bread, whatever. I mean, it makes sense. Pequestion can even be used, like when you're talking about like rolls, you'd say like pequesgas. Even cookies, pequesgas. And when people talk about flour, sometimes they'll just use pequestion when they're talking about flour. So in context, it can make a lot of sense. But there's another word for flour too. It's naphthalene. Flour. But a lot of people use pequestion for a lot of different things. I probably should look to see if I can see anything on this. Any questions? Oh, nobody hardly in there, so I guess it was a fail. It's recording, but it's there for later.
Nobody there?
No, I probably didn't do a good job posting it up there. I tried to find the original link I had, like I put the date, and when I put the date, it disappeared the link, and I tried to put it back in. They probably have no idea. But it's the same link it's always been, so. Yeah. But it is recording, so we can later put it up there.
Notice that.
And
So you're trying to adopt it.
You should, absolutely, I agree.
We
I
could
support.
like
Joey.
Okay, three of us.
Fusion
got
more.
That's all that matters.
Joey. Yeah, nah.
I don't care as long as you get me some.
I didn't even hear what they said. I know, right? I was like, I can only hear my own thoughts.
You hear about something between here.
That's it, we got three.
I got my sources. Come up with sources. There's a gentleman up in Minnesota, a Jubal guy. He makes these. He makes like leggings with stuff on, all kinds of things. Brian.
Oh, yeah, I told
Dow, I
Justin we
think,
need to
maybe?
all have a pair
I
in
can
the
tell you.
language department.
Oh, those are
I
cool.
know.
Yeah.
I told him that. I was like, we need to all be matching when we go to Michigan and wearing them all.
Yeah, nah.
Well, you know, you can get the white tennis shoes at Hobby
Maybe
Lobby
find
for
that.
$6, and then you can use them on
I
Yeah.
know. wish
You
could
could do
draw.
your, I was just gonna say the same thing. You could do that. Mine would look very.
I've done that
not.
before, actually.
Mine was like very fourth grade.
But you came up with the idea for the medicinal 7 grandfather things on the t-shirt, right?
Yup. No, you came up with the idea for it. You absolutely
Uh-huh.
did.
I had a
See?
rough draft.
You
of
were-
what
Out at it, being creative.
She absolutely has a very creative mind. I could have never come up with that.
use like patterns, and then you can like use something to, you know, that's what I would do. I would sometimes kind of freehand, but I would have a problem with proportion. Now shading I'm really good at, which is great for painting, because you can shade.
I can't even draw what I do though. I have it all messed up.
Let's Canada.
But if you can visualize it, then
Okay.
that's like the hardest part, you know what I mean?
That's a lot going on up there. So we got
Wow.
okay on the neck.
I got that one.
Okay on the neck. Okay on the neck.
So then they put.
Then it's man.
It is
Then his
man.
man, Bopus. Soup.
Opus, if you say soup.
Oh, soup.
Soup.
I
Yeah,
Is
got
that
soup.
these
man?
for Notre Dame.
It's man soup.
Man soup.
Yeah.
Man soup. I was gonna say that, but I was like, that can't be what he
So,
said.
yeah, the man is making soup. Man is making soup. Okay on the neck. That man is making soup.
It's okay. Just KE making.
Yeah, this KE, you'll see it attached on certain nouns to indicate like doing something with it. This one is pretty kind of like maple syruping. See spot cat. That's how you say like doing maple syrup. If you were to say like making tables, like maybe you make tables, you could say don't put in cat. You could make it a verb that way. Copycat, making coffee.
Yeah.
So that KE can be put on a lot of nouns
So
to indicate
is
like doing something in particular. Chili cat, making chili, a new chili word. Chili or chili cat? Gago jagaksa kani pakwejgasa. Gago jagaksa kani pakwejgasa. I'm gonna help you out with this one here. So jagaksa son is to burn it. So don't burn those rolls or cookies. Pakwejgasa. Gago jagaksa kani pakwejgasa. Don't burn those rolls or cookies. Gago zamsi tagne keken. Gago zamsi tagne keken.
Don't oversalt.
Don't oversalt it. Don't use too much salt. Too much.
Where's the don't?
The
The
gago.
gago and the
And then the
can.
can.
Yeah. So your gago and your can is your don't. You can attach that to all kinds of verbs. So if I said like, I told you like, don't
Gago
clean,
kikto can.
gago bean can. What?
I said gago kikto can.
Gago kikto can. Don't talk. Gago dopla can. Don't pick that up. Don't. Gago mukto can. Don't run. Gago whatever can. Copy can. Gago make coffee.
Go coverage.
You know?
Who would ever tell someone that?
The
Justin, yeah.
Inte någon whisky bara på
So gecko, it's always gecko and kin is in for don't. So
Can. Yeah,
can, yeah.
yeah, gago and can. Gago and can. Yep.
So what's gecko without the can?
Without the can?
Stuff.
Something.
Something. I couldn't remember.
Gago by itself it means something.
But with the can, it's
But the can is still. Yep. Good question.
Can it mean stuff too?
Stuff.
Yeah.
Something. Something stuff. Yeah.
Kind of depends on your-
Depends. It's
Like
pretty
contextual?
It's multi-usable. I mean, you could put it. You could say like gago nagadeton. You got something? You know, you got stuff. I don't know what you're talking about. But gago.
got this
Gago. Any type of stuff, a thing, some kind of object. Zugwade non ni pakwejgasen. The zugwade non ni pakwejgasen. This here is the zug. The zug part is talking about being, it's like gluey or sticky. What the zug is. That would day is talking about like something you're cooking. And then known, they are those cookies. So the cookies are doughy. They're doughy. They're sticky. They're doughy. They're not cooked. The zugwade on the pakwejgas and cookies are doughy.
Is that used for anything else? Does it?
The zug you can use for like the zug again is like glue.
That's where I've
Like
seen it.
glue?
That's where I saw
Yeah,
it.
glue.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Because
sticky.
I was wondering.
Yeah,
how that-
sticky or but it's talking about the food itself. So it's like, 'cause you know, if you touch dough, it's kind of like it sticks. It's kind of it's doughy. That's how you.
What's
Yeah.
that down again?
So that the zug part is like the sticky kind of like feeling to it, like and that would day is talking about something that's cooking. And day, so they're kind of doughy. They're kind of sticky, basically. That's how you say doughy. They're kind of sticky. those cookies. Need quejgasa. Quejga, quej. Quejgasen nigi bidak koweb nam nanen. Quejgasen nigi bidak koweb nanen. Now, you've seen this web noun before. You see it in a lot of verbs. Kind of like this tossing it or putting it in, kind of like tossing something. But it's not like tossing a ball, but it's like we said, zagajawebin, toss it out. But here you're putting it into the oven. Yeah, you're putting it into the oven.
Is that a-
Bidak koweb nanen. So you're putting them, those cookies or rolls, into the oven. So I did nigi bidak koweb nanen them. So I did put them into the oven, them, those cookies. Quejgasen nigi bidak koweb nanen. I think this would be a good lesson because there's a lot of vocabulary that's a little bit new to y'all. But at the same time, even though there's new vocabulary, there's parts of this that are familiar. You know, there's things like whether it be soup, whether it be pequejgan, whether it be gago and something, you know, sitag, you know. And that's what I mean by once you start to learn kind of the structure and how things work, and you know that a little bit too, you start to see other words you've never seen, and you can actually take a pretty educated guess at what you're talking about. Especially in context. Like if we were in the kitchen, I freaking like just pulled the cookies out of the oven, you know, it's like, duh, bam, makes perfect sense or whatnot. So, always a little harder when you're in a class talking about words and talking about phrases. A little bit harder. Keep it easy on there. Somebody's making notes. Okay, so we got nipija, gatoyen, ikoman. Nipija, gatoyen, ikoman. What's koman?
Knife.
Knife. What is nipija?
Where?
Yeah, where'd you put the knife? Did. That knife. So where'd you put the knife? Nipija, gatoyen, ikoman. Where'd you put the knife? Nea nui vida koevnan. Nea vida koevnan. This might be something you might say after I said, hey, the cookies are doughy. Zagordanon that need for questgas. Nea nui vida koevnan. Nea nui vida koevnan. So, all right. Will back. I will put them back in the oven.
That's right.
Yep,
Yeah.
stay off this back, not this side back, so that's back. Yep. This time back is your pumpkin. Oh, pumpkin, back aches. Stay off this back, so. So Neaf nui bida koebna. I will put them back in the oven. Neaf nui bida koebna. Interesting enough, we had an example sentence that I had written down with gago not using the noun. So there we go. Gago jagde miagwit. Gago jagde miagwit. These words here might be a little hard for you. You may not have heard these before. You may have heard like bas miagwit. Yeah, when is your bogan? Bas miagwit. Who farted? Bas miagwit.
Something smells good or something smells burnt. Okay.
Yep. Something smells burnt. Gago, jagde, miagwit. Something smells burnt. This is the story of my life. I don't put stuff in the oven. I don't set
Doughy to burnt.
timers. I'm also really bad about waiting for it to preheat. I'll just be like, oh, it's on now. Cool, I'll throw it in. That's it. That's what we know. So my wife's like, hey, you been chicken? Check the food like that. Jagde, miagwit. Gago. Something smells burnt. Gago. Jagde miagwit. Something smells burnt. So bas miagwit, something like stinky. Bas miagwit. Mano miagwit, something smells good. Mano miagwit, smells good. Skena ye jagde no ni quejgase. Now look here. You see a similar word there? You got jagde. Miagwit, you got jagde. No. So skena. Dang, geez, skena. Ye jagde non. I burnt the cookies. Yep. Which they, that known, those, the quejgasen cookies. Skena. Ye jagde non ni quejgasen. Geez, I burnt the cookies. In the story of my life. You may wonder how these words come to me in this similar pattern, but they just do.
I quit wondering what I'm gonna say.
You stop trying to understand how these words are the ones that popped up for me. Especially when I jump down, because I'm not getting all this. Some of them getting wild. Yeah.
Sitting in his office talking about kids and stay.
I tell too much of my life. I'm not gonna lie. We're talking about ball games, talking about kids are sick. It's like a journal of my life. Like they'll look back like 50 years, like, oh, he's recording. He's just talking about all his day, his kids, blah blah. It's like a big anthology of living language. Living language. That's right. Gadoji tane e wisnian. Gadoji tane e wisnian. Kadeke o gigabe. The Bob didn't eat Nijin. And I can't jagabe no need for quejgase. Ujitam get that. Ujitam get that. Kadoji tane e wistin. What we got there? Kadoji tane. I use this a lot. I say, hey, Kadoji tane. Kadoji tane e dewegayin. Kadoji tane. Are you ready? Are you ready to eat? Are you ready to eat? I'm sorry. Yo, food. Are you ready? Yin being the U. G up here. Kadoji tane. Hey, we stay. Ready? Kadoji tane. We stay. How would you say are you already? Said it all. You said it all though. You said Gadoji Tamne Ewisnia. That's what I heard.
So was it, I knew there was a case somewhere.
So Gadoji Tamne, are you all ready? Ewisnia, are you all eat? So Gadoji Tamne Ewisnia, are you all ready? Gadoji Tamne Ewisnia. That jita, the verb here is wujita. But you use the long form and with this one. And so it's, yeah, there's a W that turns into an O because of that. But the root itself is wujita. That's the root verb. But so if I said I'm ready, dojita. I'm ready. Dojita. Panashishna dojita. I'm always ready. Dojita. So Gadoji Tamne Ewis. We'll go to the new one. Gadoji Tamne Ewistia. Are you all ready? Now here's one that's got that K on. I thought about this one just now. Anybody know what that might be? It's
Make black.
Making something.
That's right. You're exactly right. Fast. Because when you traditionally fast, you
Oh, did that boy
you
fast?
blacken your face. So
Or that boy
that
fast?
boy is fasting. Because traditionally when you fast, sometimes you'll blacken your face because that way if somebody comes up and they find you out in the woods, the idea is they won't offer you some food or they won't bother you. Their nose is out there fasting. Blacken your face. And they used to do that. They used to ask like young boys, they say, hey, you want to go out and fast? And they'd ask them and they'd have them blacken their face and go out and fast. So literally it is. He is black or making himself black, that boy. He's blackening his face. So it's talking about fasting. The Bobden E region. The Bobden E region. Now this is in a command form. The Bobden E region.
Not food, but.
That food is correct. Check on that food.
Okay.
The Bobden E region. The Bobden is the verb to check on it. So, the Bobden E region. Check on that food. And not jogade no ni paquez gas. Those cookies are gonna burn. Oh, Yago, jog me agwit. Something smells burnt. Yago jog them agwit. Something smells burnt. Ujitam getne. Ujitam getne. Ujitam getne. It's ready. What's that baguette though? What if you say like kasinyam get? What's that?
It's ready. Is it ready?
Yeah, bam. Is it ready? Yeah, is it ready? That baguette just means it is. So ready? Question. Is it ready? Ujitam getne. Is it ready? Ujitam getne. Is it ready? Cho, pagaji, pazak. The zug with that known me. The question gas. No, the cookies are too doughy. They're doughy. Ujitam getne. Is it ready? Okay. I hope you're all getting some new words. You feel like you are. That's the beauty of doing this little activity. I got some fun ones in here. This one's gonna make me think. Geoshque nandum. Now, this nandum at the end is talking about hunger. Okay. This go nandum means I'm starving. Go nandum means I'm starving. Go nandum. Geoshque though means dizzy. So it's I'm dizzy from hunger. It's like your blood pressure's like you're out of whack. You know, your blood sugar, I mean not blood pressure. Your blood sugar, you know, you need to eat something. I'm dizzy from hunger. Geoshque nandum. Geoshque is a funny word though, because if you just say the geoshque, that means I'm dizzy. dizzy. If I said Nagio Squavier, I'm drunk. I'm dizzy from drink. Gio Squavier. Whoa. So you're dizzy from drink. But Gio Square dizzy, Gio Square Nandem, I'm dizzy from hunger. But see, that's one of those things. Like I said, you can see all these different things inside a word. You could make 100 words. You could be like running dizzy, or my head hurt. I don't know. I mean, anything that makes you dizzy, you could add that in there. And say dizzy. Gio Square, yeah. Go Nandem, I'm starving. Gio Square Nandem, I'm dizzy from hunger. Or like it's like your blood sugar's kind of messed up. You need to eat. Change color. No, we do cow o ishime. No, we do cow o ishime. The verb here is do. We do qua is play with something. So no, we do cow o ishime. Play nice with your younger sibling. No, we do cow o ishime. So play nice with your younger sibling. Could be any, I mean, the G here is the your, shime is younger sibling, could be a boy or a girl. So, no, we do cow o shime. So play nice with your younger sibling. Ishiwe badon e wabno toxkin. Now, wabno toxkin should sound familiar.
TV.
TV. Now, let's see if we can figure out what this other thing is. Ishiwe badon. Ishiwe. Noch. Now, if I told you, like if I was talking quiet, I'd say, Noch kaji win. Talk louder. Noch kaji win. Kaji we badon e. Turn up the TV. Kaji we badon e. When you see this badon at the end of a verb, it usually means that you're doing something to it, like you're manipulating in some way. Badon, like maji badon, turn it on, or ate badon, turn it off. Turn it up.
So
Turn it
do
louder.
would
Turn
be
it
to
louder.
quiet it or make it. Turn it down.
Dokmebadon is turn it down.
Okay.
Because dokum, quiet,
quiet.
so you're making it quieter. You're quieting it down. You're turning it down. Dokmebadoni wabno touch. Turn down the TV. Dokmebadoni wabno touch. Nagipshe bagaji. So I'm a little bit deaf. Dokmebadoni wabno touch. Turn down the TV. But again, from like dokum, that dokum is quiet. You're quieting it down, turning it down. Dokmebadoni wabno touch. Nidajipdabji. Nidajipdabji. What is jipdab? Sit. Nidajipdabji. So
There.
I'm sitting there. I'm sitting there. Yeah, nidajipdabji. I'm sitting there. Might be something for Paul to remember to tell his wife that, hey, nidajipdabji. I'm sitting there. next time they go somewhere, they're trying, hey, that's my chair. I'm sitting there. Ninma jipdabon. That's my chair. Nidajipdabji. I'm sitting there. So again, no, we do cow o bishime. Play nice with your younger sibling. Mino wido ka o kishime. Jiwe badon e wabno toxic. Jiwe badon e wabno toxic. Turn up the TV. Jiwe badon e wabno toxic. Dokme badon e wabno toxic. Dokme badon e wabno toxic. Turn it down. Dokme badon e wabno toxic. Nida jeep dub ji. Nida jeep dub ji. I'm sitting there. Nida jeep dub ji. Good. In case you hadn't noticed, I'm in the living room now. Talk about the living room now. Not in the kitchen. Not cooking anymore. I did burn the cookies, so
You got-
basically the game was over. I burnt the cookies. Apparently I run out of screens. Part two. Oh, I have it. I was like, no way I have. Okay, there we go. Broke it. Genwalk jeep de win, jeep de buck. Genwalk jeep de win, jeep de buck. Well, we know jeep de win is a chair. So what is a genwalk jeep de win? Genwalk, long.
Couch.
Couch. Couch. Everybody sit on the couch. Genwalk jeep de win, jeep de buck. Everybody sit on the couch. Genwalk jeep de win, jeep de buck. Everybody sit on the couch. This next one will be fun. Weknija, wasmo chicada et chicadaman. This one's gonna stretch your mind.
What?
Bam, what? She's like, I'm saying.
Lightning play?
Hey, that was the word to know.
That's what I was trying to figure out.
Lightning play?
Oh, I said that's gonna stretch your mind.
No, she said what?
What's gonna stretch your mind? Jonas Testona Gideon. I don't know what you said.
It's okay.
Weknija wasmo chicada et chicadaman. Now, wasmo can mean lightning,
It's talking about the light, isn't it?
but it can also mean electric or electrical. Can't spell electrical. Chicada is a toy.
An electrical toy.
What electrical toy you play with?
What video game are you playing? But yeah, electrical toy. What video game are you playing? Weknija wasmo chicada. What video game are you playing? Wasmo chicada video game. Et chicadaman are you playing with? So
What if
video
it's
game?
like a electrical robot or?
That would work for that too.
Okay, so you'd have to figure out context.
Yeah, it'd be context.
If you had a Wabno toxic.
I mean, if you got, it's like old school. Remember, I used to always say they used to just use no toxin for everything. Everything that made noise was no toxin. But yeah, back in the day, radio was all you had that made noise. And you got TV, all those 1,000 things. But yeah, WAP no toxin. But yeah, it would be contextual or it could be
Yeah.
depending on what you're talking about.
Okay,
You could always coin words.
I was stuck at the lightning too.
Wasmo
What? I was
chicada.
like, what would that be?
Lightning
Video
play?
game. Weknija
I'm
wasmo
like,
chicada.
Don't play with
Et
something?
chicada.
I know, right?
Well, wasmo it definitely means it means lightning, but it also
Yeah.
is used for electric.
Yeah,
So Imanogi's getne. Imanogi's getne.
Did you have a good day?
Yeah, was it a good day? Imanogi's getne. Was it a good day? Okay. Igizia iba bodewa himwan kanomaga. Yeah, well, following language class. It was a good day.
That's right.
Imanogi's getne. It was a good day. So, Yenwak jeep de buen, jeep de buck. Yenwak jeep de buen, jeep de buck. Weknija wasmo chikade etchikade. Weknija wasmo chikade
Trust me, it's like
etchikade.
not the,
Imanogi's
it
getne.
was not my preference.
Oh, yeah.
Work, you know,
Igizia
and it won't be
iba
in the
bodewa
future, 'cause
himwan
I know you're a
kanomaga.
sec too.
I appreciate
Then
it
we-
anyways, like just
But it
being able
worked.
to have some
Yeah.
videos.
It
worked.
And I plan
It was a
on,
good day with the language.
when I get my
class,
tax
and maybe we'll
return,
do
I'm
center.
gonna
Yeah.
pick up a 3 that.
Yeah.
Just have to be really
Okay.
good for Michigan.
So, since now that I've kind of stretched your minds a little bit, I want to take it back just a moment here and really just kind of see if we kind of rehash some of our meat and potatoes, if you will, of stuff. In fact, do I have a volunteer? Before I even put it up there? Okay. We could do a 2-part volunteer, like maybe we could like tag team.
It's his birthday. We should white and white.
Do I tag team together?
Half white, other half white.
I'll volunteer if nobody else will, since the women always step up, right?
I like it. I like it. I like it. That's okay. Yeah.
I have to do something with my hands or else I won't remember anything.
You
It's like, it's an
must be
ADHD thing.
neurodivergent,
I am.
because I used to give people in my group that had ADHD coloring books because
Yeah.
they retained the stuff so much better.
Exactly. Once my doctor told me that and I started implementing it, it's awesome.
I'm up.
Yeah. Regret. They're passing notes. I don't know what they're doing.
I've already got an idea what's
Do I need to take the note away and read this?
Oh my God.
We're helping Paul.
We're
I've got that in my
Oh,
notebook.
okay.
We help each other.
Okay. As a band, passing notes in class. Here we go. Yep, in the conjunct. So with the conjunct, everything, all the information about who's doing it is where? And on the rear, on the end, on the back. Yep. Alien.
I messed this up. It's so
See if you can think of it. See if you can think of it. You got a song?
Yep. Yan yin ti yuck go yuck what.
Yeah, I'll tell you a little story. I tried to do that with music. I tried to do it with those TA verbs. I tried to use like a Metallica song or something. But put some da 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 like that. I was trying to do my TA verbs on it. But music does help. There you go, the headbang. What do y'all think?
She done good.
Yan yin
You
ti
sure?
yuck go yuck what. She's got it.
Yeah, she does.
she
I
does.
just want to see if anybody would be like, ah.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
I wasn't, it's right behind you, right next to you.
Nope. Thank you very much. Very
It took me the
good.
first two to
Good
figure out
going,
which
Ed.
end of the pen to use, though.
Oh, yeah, I didn't give a tutorial. Yeah, the back end's kind of weird.
That's
like
the
that.
part that I would not get.
Yeah, that's the hard part. That was difficult. But that was excellent, excellent. Okay, she did awesome. Now, how do we put this in the past?
Gah.
Yeah. Or
Thank
taken. Good. How do we put it in the future?
Wah.
Or
Every.
there we. Good, good. What? Say yeah. Excellent. Very good. Very good. One that should not. It's always good. Yeah.
I'm right behind you.
Dwight, are you up next?
You better not leave me.
How about you could tag team, you could bring somebody with you. You could phone a friend.
Okay.
Like you get like one phone a friend or something. But you better phone the right one. Like I don't know about Paul. I don't know about phone Paul. Maybe I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. That's a hard pass.
Aretha's not here.
I didn't see that for a minute.
I think she's sick.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, but I'm not positive.
I looked up there, but I
We
had
should ask
those,
Zara. She'll know.
light dark stuff.
Hey, Zara, is Reba sick?
She had had some congestion and stuff.
Mm.
but she's still
ready?
functioning, but she
Not yet. I'll tell you what, I'll give you a couple here.
Well, if you want to, if you want us to, help you out, we can.
You can phone a friend.
That's right.
I was worried about
Yeah.
her, so.
Now, just take one last look at it and I'll help you. I'll put a couple up there for you. We'll get you going the right direction. I'll put the.
Let me just tell you what to write.
Oh, dang, my pen fell apart. That's unfortunate. Tell you what to write.
Oh, yeah. I
From there, you
remember.
mean?
See if I can.
You want to give it a try?
Yeah.
I'll give it a try.
No, I know, I know.
You can always
She's
have
like,
it.
don't do
Just
smoke.
put it aside. You know, just think about it.
With me, but if
I'll give you a couple of them to help you out.
sometimes the
I'll
stress
give
of
you one.
anxiety
You got the worst.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
But let's help him out. Let's make a sentence as he writes. So he's since he's got Wenesia, how about Wenesia or Wenesia gi nenwi.
Yeah,
Wenesia gi nenwi.
Who are those
Yeah.
men?
where those men,
Eh,
they look like bad guys. How do you say bad guys?
bojo, bojo.
They're muy mal.
Okay, he's got a,
Anyway,
he's got Weknesia. How about a good Weknesia says?
Mama
Weknesia
Fee.
gajitskaya. Nago. Weknesia gajitskaya. Or Weknesia gajitskaya.
What did you do yesterday?
What did you do yesterday? Good. Need your P for win. What about a good need your P one? Need your P. Ga. Maji. Oh, what? Need your P. Ga Maji. Oh, what?
Look at women live.
Yeah. I mean, if you can read my handwriting, it'd be fun. So we got need Pija
This
for
is
where?
fun.
So,
I hope this stuff
Need
is
Pija
not
for where?
toxic.
Need Pija Asia.
Yeah, so it's a, there might be lead in this. I should
Asia.
wash this off.
Yeah, where are they going? Need Pija Asia. What? Uh-huh.
I'm hungry.
Okay. Oh, what? Okay, I don't know what you're ready to do. I'm a little bit scared now. Maybe I should stand in front of the camera. He said, don't
I want
tell
to go to
me.
the farmer's daughter. Yes, I should. They have this
A
stuff.
little bit
It's called,
frightened, so maybe I should stand in front of the camera.
So good.
See it.
I think they're called Krispies. And when you get soup, they give you these like, it's basically just toast soaked in butter with like salt, and it's really crunchy, crispy, and you eat it with your soup. But it's like, it's thin slices. Oh, it's so good. Krispies. I know, yeah, see, they have a cute name for it, that's why it's good.
that's right.
Who else gonna be here?
Everybody gets in.
Kristen, Reva said she was, but hopefully. Since our-
You're right.
Mrs.
You're right. You fooled yourself. You're right. He thought he did it wrong, but he actually did it right. So, hey.
I was trying to spell this.
Well, you stumped him, all right. You might have stumped yourself. though. Yeah, because he was thinking
Yeah.
like, he was remembering how many I had, how much. It's also how many. Yeah. Good,
But I
good
got
thing.
most of them. I do most of them, I just keep.
Well, and one of the things I will say though is it's good activity to actually have to write them up in front of people. Whether you have to do it from memory, or you have to do it from even from piece of paper, because it's like you're teaching somebody else and it helps kind of lock in your mind that way. But that's really what you want to get to. You want to get to that point where you feel comfortable enough with them that you can just be like, okay, Wendysia, Weknesia, you know, need you be, need pija, need jetso, need you yeah, need you we, need you. So they're just kind of right there on the edge of your mind. That way, when you need them, you can pull them out. That was good though. Meat wedge, meat wedge, meat wedge. I asked if
I
there
was
was
usually in the corner from now on.
I just stood up there, sweat.
somewhere. Yeah. Stormy, you want? No, not today.
No, I'm just kidding, maybe.
Maybe. Depends when I put up here, right? It's all relative, right? Depends. But no one ever wants to volunteer when there's no idea what could be anything.
I will. That's my goal, is to practice humility this year. So that means throwing myself right into the abyss of potential embarrassment.
I mean, you have, look at it this way. We're all friends. We're all trying to help each other out. Nobody's going to give you a hard time about it.
Well, I took you seriously when you said this is the main reason adults have trouble learning the language, is that they're too embarrassed to fail. Where little kids will try it all the time and don't care.
That's true.
I still care.
But
But
it's okay. It's okay. But yeah,
I
you
get
just gotta.
used to it.
You have to let
Actually,
let
little
that
kids care
anxiety
too,
go,
because
if you can
they-
help it. But it's easier said than
once they
done
go into
because
school,
anxiety is a real thing.
It is a real thing.
I mean,
once you go to school, it kind of makes
Hey, Justin, can I have some strawberries? Or can I have some strawberries?
they're not mine.
They're not? They're not from the
They're from
winter
Florida.
storytelling
Yeah,
event?
they're from the storytelling
Dang.
that time. Yeah,
And they're still okay.
and they're not.
If
Wait,
they're
how far
okay.
are they're not furry.
How far ago was that event?
That was in.
3 weeks.
Oh my God, where have I been?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
I
I
didn't know.
feel like they were like frozen though, when we
Yeah.
got them.
You can risk it if you want. I mean,
Risk it for the biscuit.
if you want to live on the edge. But I didn't. I
I'd
didn't realize
risk
what
it
it
for
was.
I was like,
biscuit, but
I ate,
don't
oh,
like
as a
risk it
kid,
for
those, I
strawberry.
love strawberries.
I do too.
I really want to go to Farmer's Market.
Man, yeah, I wish. I like your mug
Come on, let's
for
go
your
get some
cup.
I want you to be happy.
Are you gonna get some strawberries? He said, come on.
I can't see if they're fuzzy. I can't see.
You'll have to help me with a couple and I'll try.
I like that. I like it. All you can do is try. That's good. Attitude, absolutely.
Or you can be like me and just say
Good. Oh,
I have faith in you. I believe in you.
You didn't help me with a couple.
Oh, was I supposed to help you to go?
Yes.
I just said I have complete faith in you. I just said- Okay, let's see here.
Each cooler knows that. She's got
I'm trying to think what's going on.
all these things I should know. I went to class with it. I don't practice anywhere else. It makes sense to me.
Help me, one right here. Oh, you're, okay.
that what you meant?
No, okay.
Oh, okay.
Never mind.
Oops. I thought you'd know that one, but. Yep, you're right.
Oh.
You got it. It's right there on your head. Down you. You know it. Yeah,
I was gonna put Argo, but it's
you're
not.
right.
that is
Like I
correct.
said, go-
Ding, 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 ding.
Don't know
See,
what you're thinking.
you were
Yeah.
overthinking yourself.
Is that right?
Correct.
Yep,
Uh-huh.
you got this, Stormy.
Yeah, you are.
You know more than you think you do,
I think they should have been ready.
but then your brain tries to get in the way.
Scrape off the stuff on the top.
No.
Yeah, it's like that with everything.
Some
though, like,
stuff, but not.
They always say, take whatever the first choice is on a quiz. And when you rethink it, it's like it's wrong. And you're like, man, I had it right.
I think you-
I'll give you one of these to help you out.
Okay, thank you.
Because I know you're struggling with getting going, but let me give you one to help you.
Yeah.
And me?
Yep.
If I hadn't just eaten lunch, I would definitely go to
Look at the other one.
I
How it is.
Yeah, you ate.
Which other one?
I mean,
Oh,
see
yeah.
how- see how this one's noted and Andy? Eggy and. Well,
Or eat.
Yes, yes.
man.
We wanted to go over some more.
So I'm missing the O.
Yeah, those. It's like
I,
those.
well,
those
I don't have a
elders,
shawl, really.
Something kept you out of it, something demonstrative.
I did remember one, but it was after the-
Oh, that's singular. Go to.
I brought one, so during time periods. and then
So we think that was-
Kind of good to practice with them
Correct.
when you see how you-
Yeah, it, yeah.
I
know.
couldn't remember.
You know we
I need to
get.
get one.
I told somebody we had a thing. and
She did awesome. What else should I see? A lot of times you know better than you think. It's like that sometimes. It's hard for us sometimes to put ourselves out there as adults and just put them out and put them there, but your first thoughts were right. Sometimes you just got to go with that. And that's where kind of drilling them and really working on them over and over again will help, because they're going to start to become just innate. You're just like, oh, okay, bam. You know, oda, o, ago, goda, ki, eki, oda, e, eki, noda, ni, endi. Oda, o, ago, goda, e, eki, oda, e, eki, noda, ni, endi. Isn't that great?
Yay.
That feel good? We are recording it. And I just don't care. I don't care. But, you know, I will say that helped me with learning Potawatomi.
Yes.
Not having shame.
Not caring, yeah. In this English, I don't care what people think. Like when they
So
get
that
it.
girl's on fire.
My husband was a high
What
school
girls on
math
fire?
teacher for a alternative high school, and he used
You
to
got the
bring
song?
Yeah, like the song.
lemons and teach them how to juggle
So that girl's on
and
fire.
do different things like
Jogsaw.
that to,
Or not.
you know, he always had
Jogsaw.
some kind of like visual kinesthetic thing to do with different concepts.
Okay, good. Wasn't that shit?
Rock, who used to the bottom
Yes,
of it.
killing
I
it
was trying to learn.
now.
I think I
Let's see.
got
Yeah, they think
Yeah,
it's
Mama
almost
Gotta
Feed.
get stuff that-
Mamma Mia.
Yeah, we're gonna come and see you later.
Oh, I think that's a threat. Walk through the door.
Yeah, lock the door.
I felt threatened by that. Threat. Security. Didn't kill none of that. Need your question. Need your
Security just walked out the door.
For real. He's
Yeah,
going.
he's gone.
He's out. So.
It's ready to
Fucking
turn now, so we want to do something apart.
What did you say?
Wait.
I didn't hear what he said.
But it's their turn, so now we gotta do something. apart.
No. I like to watch and listen. I have social anxiety, so I always mess up,
How do you do?
regardless of like what I know.
Okay.
See, those are like.
Real quick here, let's review a couple things. How many types of verbs are there, Paula?
There's
Like main types.
there's four
Four.
main types, but there's like 7.
So you got your AI verbs, right?
Mhm,
II verbs,
mhm,
your TI verbs,
mhm. Your teeth.
and your TA verbs. So what we spend a lot of time working on are these right here. That's our namaji, gamaji. These are the ones that we have to master first. We got to get these down. After that, it's these ones that we're going to work on really hard. TIs. We've worked on them some, but we really want to make sure that we have these backwards, frontwards, sideways. And then these TIs. In between there, you can get your IIs down because they're pretty simple. They're just like it is,
Colors.
they are. That's like our jog day. And jog day, no.
Thank you.
Jog day, it's burn up. Jog day, no, they're burn up. Where I have to put them again. Jog damn get, it's burn up. Jog day, no. That's all there really is. That's pretty much it. And then you got your EAs. That's our Nijok Meshin. That's
Yeah.
our
The ones
that's
that
our
have
Manowido cow.
so many different forms.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of forms, one combination, but they're real good verbs to use, real good verbs to know. So we are going to get into them soon,
Good.
but I think we're going to jump a little bit into these TIs for a second.
Yeah, town.
TI town. We'll start with Wabdon. What is Wabdon?
See.
See it. Yep, see it. So the Wabdon, I see it. Yo Wabdon. See it. Wabdon. She sees it, or you could have done it. The Wabdamen. We minus you see it. The Wabdamen. We all see it. The Wabdam. You all see it. And then one that's a little different. Wabdanawa. They see. Now, with these though, there's also the plural of these. So there's just the basic. This basic one looks a lot like our namaji gamaji pattern. I mean, you got your N right there for I, you got your G for you, nothing on the verb or a W. He or she, you got your N and your men. All you did was you dropped off the N right there. The N is gone. You got your G and your men, or we all. Again, you just took that in and just got rid of it. And then same thing here. The N disappeared. You got your G and your M for the you all. Very much like the other pattern. But down here at they, it's a little funky. It's a wa. It's different. But the other thing that's different about these is there's a plural to these. Okay? So I see it as Nawab Dan. I see them as Nawab Danin. There's the plural, Nawab Danin. I see them. So like if I said Jeeptabwinin, Nawab Danin. I see the chairs. I see them. If I said I see a chair, Jeeptabwin, Nawab Dan. I see a chair. Or Dopwin, Nawab Dan. I see a table. Dopwinin, Nawab Danin. I see tables. Go Wabdan, you see it. Go Wabdanin, you see them. So you see it, you see them. Wabdan, Wabdanin. Now these three right here are singular and plural. So it's actually we see it or them. We all see it or them. You all see it or them.
So it's just the IU and he, she, it form that pluralizes.
And the they form.
Okay, oh, and the they.
And the
A
they you
lot.
added. And leave room for it. So Wabdana Wan would be
Wan,
they see
okay.
them.
That makes sense. Okay.
So they are a lot like the other pattern. That's why even understanding the other pattern can really help you with these. It's just a matter of there's a plural to it, and like I said, the they is a little different. That's the independent. We'll do one more over here. We'll pick a different word. Let's see. No Don. Hear it. Like, hear it. I did sight, so we'll do hear it. No Don. So then no Don. I hear it. Good no Don. You hear it. No Don. You she hears it. And then no da men. We would not you hear it. Then no da men. We all hear it. Then no dom. You all hear it. And then no danawa. They. But just like this one, there's also a plural to it. This is I hear it. You hear it. He or she hears it. We hear it or them. Remember, these ones here are it or them. This is we, but not you, hear it or them. We all hear it or them. You all hear it or them. So what do you think? What do we add up here to make it I hear them?
Don and
Yep. So the no don in. I hear them. Good no don then. You hear them. No don in. He or she hears them. And then again, these are it or them, it or them, it or them, and then no don no one. They hear them. But like I said, I mean, the independent, I mean, to me, is pretty close to the way that the AI verbs work. I mean, it's the only thing that you have really going on that's different is plural, and then you got the they that's a little funky, a little different, a wa. But everything else is pretty much, all you've done is take your in off right here, and then put your min on. Take your in off, put your min on. Take your in off, put your in. Because I mean, if you think about it, it doesn't make any sense to go like this. That'd be weird. This doesn't seem logical anyway. So, Let's do another one. We'll do the bob down. We use that in our example. Check on it. So. Let's start by writing them out. This is check on it. Well, the B is French. So, how would we say I check on it?
Enough.
Then
Good
the
to
Bob
Bob
done.
done.
You check on it?
Good to Bob done.
Get the Bob done. He or she checks on
Good
it.
to Bob done.
Then we but not you check on it.
Good to Bob
And
done.
the Bob done.
Men.
How about we all check on it?
Good to Bob done.
Here's the Bob done. You all check on it.
Good to Bob done.
Get the Bob done. They check on it. Bob done.
Done.
Wow. Pretty easy peasy. Now, how do we take this to I check on them?
Good to Bob done.
Yeah, done it. Then the Bob done it. I check on them. You check on them. Good. The Bob done.
Men.
Then here's you check on them. The Bob done.
And
Then this one. What about this one?
same.
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 So these are the same. But ignore them. And then down here, bam. The Bob down to 1. They check on them. Two different verbs. The more of these you do, the easier they become. It's like sitting there writing that pattern out like mine. Boom, 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 boom. You write it out over and over again. More of these we do, different types, and it makes it easier. About be a dome. Everybody know that verb?
What is it?
You're on the right track.
Bring
with-
it.
Come with it, so bring it. Yeah, the come though is right there. I mean,
Or
it's,
bring it.
yeah, so you're saying like come with it almost, like bring it. Yep. So bring it. I bring it. Vicky. I. That'd be a dough. The G's right for the next one. Gonna be a dough. You bring it. Be a dome? Nothing. What about this one? We but not you. Then be a dough. Then. Yep. We all bring it. Be a dough. You all bring it. Be a dome. What about this one? Be a dome. A what? They bring it. So I bring it, and then be a dome. You'll be a dome. You bring it, be a dome. He or she brings it, and then be a domeman. We but not you bring it. You'll be a domeman. We all bring it. You'll be a dome. You all bring it. Be a donawa. They bring it. Now let's go for the them.
Be a
Change
done.
my color real quick. Say it again. Sorry. Be a dome.
Be a done.
Then. Yep.
Be a done.
Donen. Be a donen. Be a domen. No, it or them. The same. And then be
Be
a
a donor
donor
one.
one. Ran out of room. Be a donor one. They bring it or them.
And
They
this
bring
is
it,
TA?
them, sorry. They bring them. Be a donor one. These are called TI verbs. Yep, transitive inanimate verbs. So this is like you interacting with something. Like I pick it up, I bring that chair, I touch that table. So you're doing something to it.
Those cups.
I check on that food.
Mhm.
Exactly. I take the muffins out or whatever. Good. I think we'll do one more thing here before we finish up. We'll do the conjunct with these, okay?
So I have a quick question. You would not use this verb form if you were talking about interacting with like an animate food?
Correct.
Okay, just want to make sure.
That'd be a TA verb.
That's what I thought, but
Yep.
just want to make sure.
And the thing about those foods is something I shared last time is you can trump what you're talking about if you if you got an inanimate and animate food that you're dealing with, like maybe you're making carrots, but you're also making potatoes, but you're animate. If you mention the carrots first, and then you mention potatoes, you can just use the inanimate form, which is simpler to use.
Yeah.
So it's
Okay.
a little trick of sorts. Because I used to believe when I first started years and years ago that well, if I'm talking about animate food and inanimate food, I'm gonna have to say I made it something animate, I made it something inanimate. Like
Yeah, we
that.
talked about that.
To split it all up like that, but that's not the case. Okay, so let's stick with the same verb since we started with. So this is now the conjunct. So when do we use the conjunct?
Questions that aren't yes or no?
Complex questions, often the second verb. Yep,
In Chauvin happens in stories and prayers.
very good. So wabdan was the verb to see it. So it goes like this. The ones that end in don that go wab, daman, wab, daman. Actually, any of them end in a do this. They change this e and then in. What it is. So wab daman, or wab daman, wab daman, wab da. Dumbo.
There are some holdovers.
So wabdamen, or excuse me, wabdaman, wabdamen, wabdup, wabdamak, wabdumgo, wabdamuk, wabdamwat. Now, any of these TIs that end in AN do this. Okay, so if they end in don, they end in non, they end in song. One I can think of. But you do have one that sticks to the old style pattern. If they end in don or tone, they operate just like our maji.
Okay.
So like bia do, bia don was to bring it. It's bia do yan, bia do
Yeah.
yin, bia dot, bia do
Yeah.
ya, bia do go, bia do yup, and bia do what? So the ones that end in don or tone, they just drop the in, and then they put the yan, yin, ti, yak, you go yuck, wat that we're used to. The problem is the majority of them are on this side. That's the bad side. This is a bad deal.
But it's not that bad. I
It's
mean,
not
if you
too
really
bad.
look at it,
If
you're
you
just
look at it,
using an
basically-
M instead of a Y. You still have
Yeah,
the
you still
on
have-
and the N.
Yes, you're very close to that. This one's a little different, but these ones look a lot like
Yeah.
the yan. Like the,
Well, instead of the last,
and basically just drop the Y.
Yeah.
Because it's like the ya,
uh-huh, and the eagle,
and the yugo is like the,
ingle,
and the yuck
and the
is
what?
like the ek.
So they're
Watts
not that
there.
different. Yeah,
That's what I was,
That's what you what?
that's what I was trying.
You were,
Changing. Yeah, I wasn't worried about the end. Part of it. I was
Yeah.
just worried about the last two.
so basically, right here was an A. So all these that start with an A turns into an E, and then M comes, and then the ya, the on, yeah. This one's the only one that's a little bit different.
and it's just a K instead of a T.
But they're very similar. I mean, this one you got the what, you just have the M with it.
Enough so you could figure out who's doing the action.
Yeah, if you could just recognize, like, you're gonna recognize your go.
Yeah.
Somebody uses you, and you're gonna recognize somebody says something what, you're gonna know they're talking about them. If I said, Micronesia, wop them, what, to give them what do they see? Okay, let's do some more. Let's do another one. Let's see, we did no done. Let's do no done. Same thing. real quick. Oh, but with these, it's singular or plural also. That's the other thing. You don't have like the other one
Okay, I was gonna ask,
you had singular and
And.
plural. This one is singular and plural.
okay, so the
The
conjunct
conjunct.
form, you don't have to worry about it.
No. No demand, no demand, no de, no demak, no dem go, no demak, and no dem what. And then debob done was the verb to check on it. So debob, demon, debob, demen, debob, de, debob, demak, go. And Bob, so I hear it or them, you hear it or them, he or she hears it or them, we but not you hear it or them, we all hear it or them, you all hear it or them, they hear it or them, I check on it or them, you check on it or them, he or she checks on it or them, we but not you check on it or them, we all check on it or them, you all check on it or them, they check on it or them. So no demand, no demen, no duck, no demak, no dum go, no dum muck, no dum what. Debob demand, debob demen, debob duck, debob demak, debob dum go, debob demuck, debob dum what. That's that. So I think that's probably good for a day. I just wanted to hit on both of them real quick. So we got a chance to really hit the TIs, look at them a little bit. Because we've really focused on our AIs hard, but, and again, getting the AI pattern will help you get the other patterns, honestly, at least these ones. Now, I won't say that it'll help you with the TAs at all, but it will help you with the TIs. It'll definitely help you with that. So I think that is good for today. Excellent. Big wedge. Big wedge. If y'all have questions, now we can keep going if y'all have other questions, or if you want, if there's something in particular you'd like to talk about, we can always do that. I should say that. I mean, I'm always up for questions and
It's not all language related.
Okay, that's fine.
A lady in Texas has a daughter that wants to take language classes, but her kid and her at the same time.
okay.
And she's been on this before, but this is way beyond
Uh-huh.
What are kids?
Yeah.
How can we go about getting their language classes?
Well, we do have some online options, and I could start doing like a little more simplistic class. I mean, I don't have a problem doing that, doing like a little more of a basic, like, I enjoy doing this style of class, because I think it's really helping y'all move along fast, but we could
Well,
definitely
she
do
could do the
something.
online ones too.
There's a bunch of them
A bunch
online.
of kids online ones.
There's also like a YouTube channel that's all dedicated
Yeah.
to kids too. That would be good for her to maybe dig into.
She was just wondering if there was.
That's a big blower.
We
The
can.
Daphne O'Deach.
I'm always up to the possibility.
That's one of her
you know, like,
paintings,
because-
Daphne O'Deach.
Oh,
She's an Ojibwa
If,
Potawatomi
but
artist.
if somebody really wants to, I'm
It's
always
really
open to
Yeah,
do something with them. Yeah.
like with her
So
contact.
just
info
have her
or
get in
something.
touch with me, and then maybe we can make it
So
something
I
like a
bought-
regular,
I
like,
wanted to.
even if it's just like a
and she had
30-minute
print
little cut, like
policy
Sam,
version
you know.
That I found on eBay for $35. So I'm like, okay. I get it in, I take it in to be framed.
Yeah,
And they
so-
said,
or maybe
"Oh,
even
this is
20
really
minutes,
nice
or
and
20 minutes, 30
photographed."
minutes, whatever
I thought it was a
their
print. Oh, no, this
attention
is
span
original.
gets, and then we can just.
I'm like, oh. He's like, well, and she's pretty well known. He said,
Zanae
"How
getting
did
on
it
going.
phrase? How did it phrase?"
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
Plan
Yeah.
with her daughter every day.
Well, she'd
very
really
proud of that
probably,
page.
I would
she
be
probably would
too.
enjoy.
I would
the,
never get rid of it.
I'm not going to.
on the YouTube channel, we got this area with cultural teachings. Introduced a lot of language, but also introduced a lot of culture too. I think that they'd like that. It's got like puppets that we do stuff with. Yeah, yeah, I'm up for whatever, you know. I'm up for whatever people want to do. I mean, there's always possibility of changing it. We used to have more of a kids type one, like a kids page. And eventually we're gonna have, we have something for middle school. I don't know how old this kid is.
Maybe not that old.
I'd like to develop something maybe for littler kids, you know, something that they could just kind of go through at their own little kind of pace, you know, something simple, using that Tavuti or something like that, you know. But
We need these language websites to come up with kids courses so that we don't have to format it ourselves. We could just kind of put the information in.
that'd be nice, yeah.
So-
Be nice if there was.
And there might be actually, I might have to look
Yeah.
into that, because, well, I know that they must have,
We need to find something that's like,
like an
not
app.
poke domain, but like shareware sometimes, or just like if you look for like programs that are programmable to a language, like that sometimes you can find ones like you said that already exist that have like a framework.
Right.
And then like you said, you just punch in like, hey, this is our word for hat, this is our word for boom,
Mm,
and you punch the vocabulary of things in. But there are some things like that.
Yeah,
The problem is most of that stuff is kind of pushed toward mainstream languages.
yeah.
So they develop it specifically for Japanese, for
Yes,
Chinese, for
exactly.
English.
Yeah.
And they're like, because they can sell,
Learning our
like, they
language
can
is
sell a
kind of
million,
unique.
they can sell a million of them, you know, like people trying to learn English. So. Ho, Bama Mina Neen.